You ever trusted someone so much you couldn't even imagine they'd be the reason your life falls apart? Yeah, that's what I thought too, until the woman I married turned out to be the biggest manipulator I've ever known. And by the time I realized what she'd done, I had already lost my job, my home, and nearly myself. My name's David. I'm 34 now, but this story started 2 years ago, back when I still believed that love meant loyalty. I had a good job as a systems analyst in a mid-sized tech company. I wasn't rich, but I was stable, focused. A little boring maybe, but dependable. That's what people used to say about me, that I was the kind of guy you could count on. And maybe that's what attracted Lisa to me in the first place. She was magnetic, the kind of woman who walks into a room and everyone just notices. Sharp-witted, charming, and gorgeous in that effortless way, like she didn't even have to try. When we met at a mutual friend's party, she practically interviewed me on the spot. What do you do? Where do you live? What's your 5-year plan? At the time, I thought it was refreshing. Most people made small talk. Lisa wanted substance. Within 6 months, we were living together. Another year later, we were married. That should have been the happiest day of my life. It wasn't. Not because anything bad happened at the wedding. Everything went smoothly. Guests were happy. Lisa looked stunning. But there was this weird moment right after we said our vows where she leaned in and whispered, "We're going to do big things together now. Just follow my lead." I remember thinking it was strange. Like, what lead? It didn't take long for things to shift. At first, it was little stuff. She'd criticized the way I dressed, saying it made me look too entry-level. Told me to be more assertive at work, push for a promotion. She framed it like encouragement, and I wanted to believe she was just helping me be better. But there was always an edge in her voice, like nothing I did was ever quite enough. Then came the suggestions. "You should invite your boss over for dinner," she'd say. "Show him your leadership material. You need to stop being so friendly with that intern. It makes you look weak. Don't let people think they can walk over you." I didn't even realize I was changing, not at first, but my coworkers noticed. I started getting colder, less collaborative, more competitive. Lisa kept pushing me to stand out more. I started staying late, volunteering for extra projects. She'd stay up with me, reading through proposals, editing presentations, always there, always involved. But it wasn't about support. It was control. The first major red flag came when my manager, Glenn, pulled me aside after a meeting. He told me some team members felt I was stepping on toes, taking credit for their work. I was shocked. I'd always been a team player. I brought it up to Lisa that night, expecting sympathy. She laughed. "You think they care about your feelings?" she said. "This is how you get ahead, David. They're just jealous you're actually doing something." I let it go. I let a lot of things go. Like the way she started monitoring my emails just to check for tone. Or how she'd remind me not to mention anything personal at work because you don't want to look soft. And maybe the most humiliating thing? I let her talk to HR on my behalf. Yeah, that happened. There was this internal restructuring, and Lisa told me I needed to position myself for a management role. "Don't let them put you in a dead-end spot," she said. So she literally wrote the email for me, demanding clarification on my role in the new org chart. She even suggested I CC the director. HR was not amused. My boss wasn't either. That was the first formal warning I received. Glenn said my tone was inappropriate. Lisa blamed him, of course, said he felt threatened, said I should start documenting everything. That's when she began pushing the narrative that Glenn had it out for me. "You need to protect yourself," she told me. "Start writing down every time he undermines you, every email, every meeting. We'll build a case if we need to." We. She was already talking like this was a war. Meanwhile, things at home were getting tense. If I ever questioned her advice, she'd go cold. Sometimes she'd cry, accuse me of not appreciating her. Other times, she'd go full silent treatment for days. She controlled the finances, too. She had me move my accounts into a joint setup, and she kept track of every dollar. "We're married now," she'd say. "No secrets between us." Except she never let me see her credit card statements. One night, I stayed late at work, no particular reason, just needed space. When I got home, Lisa was waiting in the dark, no lights on, just her silhouette on the couch. "You don't answer my texts now," she said. I apologized, tried to explain. She stared at me for a long time, then said, "I know what you're doing." I was confused. She told me she checked the GPS location from my phone, something she'd installed just for emergencies. "You were parked outside some restaurant for 20 minutes, she said. "Who were you with?" "I wasn't with anyone. I was just eating alone." I told her that. She didn't believe me. The next day, she showed up at my office, brought me lunch in front of everyone, made a big deal about it, said she wanted to support her hard-working husband. But I knew what she was really doing, marking her territory. It was getting harder to function. I was paranoid all the time, exhausted. And Lisa kept saying I needed to keep pushing if I wanted to stay ahead. She started suggesting I go above Glenn's head, file a formal complaint. I said no. I told her I wasn't comfortable doing that. That night, she slept in the guest room, didn't speak to me the next morning. Then, things escalated. I got called into a meeting with HR and Glenn. Someone had submitted a complaint, anonymous, claiming that I was creating a hostile work environment, that I had aggressively undermined leadership and fostered toxicity. I was stunned. None of it was true, but the details in the complaint, they were eerily familiar. They mirrored the exact things Lisa had encouraged me to do, word for word. I went home early that day. When I walked in, Lisa was on her laptop. I stood behind her, quiet. She was editing a Word doc titled Formal Workplace Complaint Draft. When she realized I was there, she froze, then slowly closed the laptop. "Why?" I asked. She didn't answer. So I pressed, "Did you send that report?" Still nothing. Then finally, she looked at me, calm, cold. "You wouldn't fight for yourself," she said, "so I did it for you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her this wasn't fighting, this was sabotage. She smiled. "It's called strategy, David. You're just too soft to understand it." That was the moment I knew everything had been a game to her. The pushing, the emails, the advice, even the marriage. Control. She wanted control. I stared at her, trying to process what she just said. "Free?" I repeated. "You think I'm free?" Lisa shrugged. "You hated that job anyway. This just forces you to evolve." She said it so casually, like she hadn't just set fire to the life I'd spent years building. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I just walked out. I stayed with a friend for a while, trying to get my head straight. The more I reflected, the more pieces started falling into place. The way she isolated me from colleagues, the way she pushed for full financial control, the tracking apps, the staged complaint. She hadn't just sabotaged me, she'd engineered the collapse. I began documenting everything: emails, texts, voice messages. I spoke to a lawyer, then to a private investigator. I wanted answers, and I got them. Turns out, Lisa had done this before. She'd been engaged once, to a man in a finance firm. Same pattern: move fast, gain trust, push him toward riskier career moves, then blow it up when he started to resist. That guy lost his job too. Took years to recover. No one had ever pressed charges. Until now. With the evidence I collected, we built a solid legal case. I didn't want revenge for revenge's sake. I wanted accountability. My lawyer filed a claim for malicious interference, defamation, and emotional distress. Lisa panicked. She tried calling, texting, even showing up at my friend's apartment crying. Said she was sorry, said she did it for us, that she just wanted to help me become the man she knew I could be. I didn't answer the door. In court, her mask finally cracked. emails with forged signatures, documents altered under my name. The judge didn't buy her crocodile tears. We reached a settlement, one that drained a significant chunk of her assets. More importantly, I had the satisfaction of the truth being recognized. She'd finally been exposed for who she was. But even that wasn't the best part. The best part was getting my life back, on my terms. I started freelancing, quietly, no pressure. I reconnected with people I'd pushed away. My old boss, Glenn, even reached out to apologize. Turns out HR had doubts about the complaint all along, but couldn't act until something concrete came up. Eventually, I got hired by a better company, one that valued real collaboration, not paranoia disguised as ambition. As for Lisa, last I heard, she was trying to move to another city, but her name and the court ruling follows her wherever she goes. Actions have consequences. And me? I may have lost everything for a while, but I gained something far more valuable: clarity, peace, and finally, freedom.